This is coal. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared.
The Treasurer knows the rule on crops.
By 1990, no Australian child will be living in poverty.
Well may we say, God save the Queen, because nothing will save the Governor-General.
Mate, because I want to do you slowly. I want to do you slowly.
I believe we are in danger of being swamped by Asians.
But we will decide who comes to this country and the circumstances in which they come.
People are entitled to their sexual proclivities.
I will not be lectured about sexism and misogyny by this man. I will not.
The Australian public does not want to see this place descend into a political coliseum.
You sit down, Buffett.
Welcome to The Take. Hi, welcome to The Take, aka Echo Echo. This is one of my political videos. Usually I make anti-MLM content, but I also like to talk about politics in Australia and around the world. And today I want to talk about the 2-year anniversary of October 7th and marking 2 years of the genocide that has been going on in Palestine. Today at Queen's Park in the CBD of Brisbane, aka Minjin, it wasn't a big crowd. Wasn't as big as the Bridge March about a month ago, and it wasn't as big as last year. So I went to this one last year, and a lot of the reason why I moved from where I was living is because I wanted to come and protest. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. And because my workplace, I wanted to change my workplace, but it was an added advantage. So today, Rema Naji, she has been an organizer the whole time. She was running for the Queensland election. She's fantastic. At the beginning, she said she wanted to pay respect to the mothers of Palestine, and she asked for Palestinian women to come out the front.
Come on, sisters! Palestinian women, all of you! One of the historic moments was when Palestinian American lawyer Noor Arafat addressed the United Nations talking about a legal case of genocide on the basis of targeting reproductive health. And she specifically talked about targeting women, targeting fertility clinics, making life impossible for Palestinians to conceive, to carry babies, to sustain life. Because Israelis weren't just targeting bodies, they were targeting life. And they made it impossible for Palestinians to carry life and reproduce life. It's what is called genocide.
That made me get very emotional because of the matricide that is going on and the way that Israelis control Palestinian reproductive health. That's part of it, trying to get the birth rates down because they peddle in the great replacement theory. It was, and knowing the struggle that so many Palestinian mothers, Palestinian parents not able to feed their children. And I've said it before, but Golda Meir, who was an Israeli prime minister, I think, she said I'll never forgive the Palestinians for making us kill their children. Just disgusting. And I've heard Israelis talking about how Palestinian parents don't care about their children, that their lives don't mean as much as the Israeli lives, which is just, it's so disgusting. And having gone to Germany twice, and all the reading and research and documentaries I've watched about the Nazis and the Holocaust, knowing that's how they talked about Jewish people and dehumanizing them so much that the Israelis are absolutely brainwashed to think that these humans that they can see with their eyes are not like them. They're not as human as they are. The cognitive dissonance must be something else. We marched around the block. It wasn't a big march, which is good because it was fucking hot. Okay, it was so hot. Yeah, she was a hot one. And we did a short sit-in at the Boeing office, and 2 speakers spoke there about what Boeing were doing and making a lot of money off the genocide. A big emphasis on boycott, divest, and sanction. For me, the highlight was one of the doctors who was just in Gaza spoke, and I actually covered her in a video a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so the doctor on the left, so her name is Saya Aziz. Dr. Saya Aziz is an anesthesiologist, and she had a powerful speech, and she talked about her time in Gaza here.
We saw the exodus of thousands, families crammed into trucks and tuk-tuks, fleeing south. And in a bitter irony, upon our arrival, we learned the WHO supply convoy ahead of us had accidentally crushed a man's leg. In Gaza, if the bombs don't kill you, the struggle to survive might. For 12 days at Al-Shifa, we saw the true face of this war. There was not a minute's rest from the onslaught. We heard every weapon of modern warfare, the F-35s, the non-lethal F-35s, the F-16s, and Apache helicopters, a name that itself is a grim echo of a past genocide. But some weapons are designed for a unique kind of horror. The ring of fire rockets that fall down in waves, killing hundreds. Then there are the rockets of hell, filled and stacked with sharp-ended circular discs that shred human bodies on explosion. Quadcopters that randomly shoot children who cannot run fast enough. Explosive bullets that detonate inside the body. And then the robotic tanks, packed with tons of explosives that detonate with the force of an earthquake, destroying hundreds of homes in an instant, day and night, ensuring no one in Gaza is ever allowed to sleep. They always detonate, the majority at night. They don't want you to sleep. With every explosion, we waited for the slaughtered to arrive, and they arrived in masses, hundreds and hundreds, and they came in waves, the screams of the mothers, the wails of the fathers, children covered in dust and the blood of their loved ones, watching them bleed to death on the floor. We saw shredded limbs, open skulls, and bleeding chests. And we had almost nothing to treat them with. My anaesthetic equipment was salvaged from the rubble, often defunct. I intubated patients in darkness because my laryngoscope had no light. We had little pain medication. Children would wake from surgery screaming, or worse, too weak to cry. Flies were everywhere, on open abdomens, on shredded limbs, on the melting skin of burned children. The IOF forbids disinfectants, so the smell of open wounds and infection filled the air. We had blood of hundreds of patients on each piece of equipment. We had nothing to clean them with. Yet, in the face of annihilation, I witnessed a profound and radical humanity. I'm not religious, but I have never felt closer to a God than I did in Gaza. I saw children with 50% burns respond to, "How are you?" with "Alhamdulillah, praise be to God." I saw the wife of a man who had just received a triple limb amputation. "Is he okay?" "Alhamdulillah," she said. On my last day, an elderly man in a clean white shirt, a rarity in Gaza, stopped me. He handed me an operation note for his son and asked if I could thank the surgeon and the blood donors. I read the note. It said ruptured aorta and 8 units transfused. I told him his son had received the blood. He nodded and said, I know. He died. I came to thank them for trying and to thank the blood donors for donating. I met a nurse who refused to abandon his patients, asking, if I don't stay, who will? This was the nurse on the very last day in El Shifa, and they were all volunteers. I worked with an anaesthetic technician who walked for hours each way from his displacement tent to volunteer, without pay, driven by a sense of duty unimaginable to us. I can't imagine anyone turning up to work in such conditions for free. These people, whose children have missed 2 years of school to spend their days searching for water, still find the strength to care for one another. One nurse told me of her 8-year-old son who asked her, Mum, in heaven, is there fruit? She said yes. Is there meat? She said yes. And he replied, Mum, do you mind if I go to heaven soon? So I stand before you today, the doctor who has seen the worst of what humanity can do and the very best of it. I've seen a system designed to crush a people, and I've seen those people respond with unbreakable dignity, community, and faith. My call to you is this: do not let their suffering be in silence. Shout what you have heard today. Tell your friends, your families, your elected officials. Boycott, boycott, boycott. Divest and sanction. We must sanction Israel. Ceasefire is just the start. I have profound distrust of the occupying force that is Israel. We know they have broken every ceasefire without fail. This is just the pause, but they will resume the bloodletting again if we do not continue this pressure. We have to demand an end to the siege, an end to the occupation, and an end to the apartheid. Demand that our government stop funding this massacre. There can be no peace without justice. Justice against every commander, soldier, media, and government personnel who were complicit in manufacturing consent for the Gaza Holocaust. Thank you. And may our collective conscience be the cure for this man-made, monstrous, demonic, psychopathic, schizophrenic plague called Israel. Free Palestine from the river to the sea.
I don't know why I was cheering. I cheered in the video. Apologies for it being a bit shaky. I was holding my sign and probably water and a fan. I cannot stress how hot it was. But one of the speakers, she was on the Freedom Flotilla last year, and she said, like thank you for the umbrella. But we know the conditions that they are facing in Palestine, and like if they can do hard things, we can do hard things, and I agree. The way she spoke was very inspiring, and I I just can't imagine stepping into from where we are in Queensland and stepping into Palestine, and even going from occupied Palestine, aka Israel, and Tel Aviv, just like like they're people in Tel Aviv can hear Gaza being bombed. Like it's very close. And there's food and nightlife and families and so on. And within a short drive, there is what Dr. Saya called it was a catastrophe. It is a catastrophe. And it's a man-made catastrophe. I'm sick of people talking about how Donald Trump, oh wow, he got it done. Not yet. Especially the title Viceroy or whatever, fucking the man is ridiculous. He is losing his cognitive ability. We're talking about a ceasefire, but we're not talking about prosecuting the people who did the genocide. Like, yeah, ceasefire, great, right? and all of the terms are being put into place by the butchers of them. Imagine if the Nazis had have been in charge of the Holocaust people. Oh, you can have Auschwitz back, but we'll send in our troops and blah, blah, blah. Like, just put it in any other context. Any other context is unacceptable. And our government is complicit, and the parts that come from Australia help that genocide. And Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong have been giving lip service the whole time. They don't give a fuck about Palestine. And you recognize Palestine when it was destroyed. And I hope that plays on your conscience forever, and you should be ashamed, and you should be fucking tried for it. No one in Australia should let you live a peaceful life because of what you did. You didn't stand up. You lied to us. You used our tax dollars to make us complicit in a genocide that we do not support. And if you're not angry, fuck you, you're not taking it any notice, because silence is violence. To not do anything, that's a choice. That's a message that you don't care. The option is to resist or you're complicit. That's it. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I'll try and do a few more videos during the week, just so that I'm on top of things. They're having one of those ridiculous March for Australia things by all the racists who say they're not racist. Yeah, interesting. All right, thanks for watching. Share this, get the word out. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.